Welcome to Fightheadsmma. It's me, Miss Nikki. Y'all see who it is up close and personal. We in another training camp. We're about to do this one more time. Reggie, easy, educated hands. Reggie Barnett Jr. Welcome, baby.
Thank you, Miss Nikki, and thank you, Fightheads MMA, as always, for being such a supporter since day one. And here we are, 4 years removed. It's been a hell of a roller coaster ride, ups and downs, some good times, some bad times, some laughs, some cries, but we're doing it again. I gotta thank God for the opportunity first. I never imagined that I would get a shot at a world title or whatever. I'm not really worried about it belt-wise, but to have co-main eventing, another big fight, another opportunity to go out there on the biggest stage and perform is what I'm most excited about.
You guys aren't main event? Y'all main event, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it's not even about any of that. It's going out there and performing for myself. And performing for my fans and my supporters. Using my gift.
So, my first question to you is, because I scream at y'all most times in my videos about elevating. Elevation is the key. So, although you are fighting again for a belt, what is the elevation in this fight for you? Where have you feel like you elevated since your last fight, last August 20th? Where have you elevated?
I can blend it now. And what I mean by that is, we all know I came into this sport as a boxer. Along the way, I kind of, I guess, evolved into a bare knuckle fighter. And then the Abbey performance, I want to say, was more or less a boxer. And the chop fight was more or less just a bare knuckle fighter. All you saw was this part of easy, or this part of easy, this part of the educated hands, repertoire. This part I have been working since my last fight to wholeheartedly blend them into one form of fighting. So it's not just the boxing and that's it, and it's just the clean, slick, boxing, or you get the rowdy, just a rough and tumble brawler. I have practiced day in and day out, night and day, and you just saw it, with me and my training partner being able to flow in between being that great flashy southpaw boxer, but also if I get close enough to you, I get my hands on you and get that salty savagery. That is bare knuckle. That's what we call it.
So, out of all the opponents that you've had thus far, including Mr. Bedford, who do you think, if he does, in your mind anywhere, does your upcoming opponent resemble any of them?
Closer to Clay Burns than anybody else.
I thought Clay Burns was a tough fight.
And and that was his second fight, and that was me trying to become a bare knuckle fighter and a boxer. And if you go back and watch that fight, I was trying to be the bare knuckler, but I couldn't. So I found out that I was a better boxer than him. And I went back and I outboxed him, and that's ultimately what won me that fight. It was a good fight. It was a lot closer fight than most people thought. I always know in my heart, and I expressed that to Clay, that was a tough fight. It was a good fight. It was a close fight. So I don't care how you see it. The Rusty fight, we ain't even talk about that shit. The Matt Murphy fight, which we call the last tape, was me coming in and trying to implement some of my new style, and I obliterated him. And I didn't mean to, and nobody's seen that fight still. We call that the lost tape.
Yeah.
So that fight's not on any of the bare knuckle. Like, the only way you ever saw the Matt Murphy fight was if you were there live. That's it.
Facts.
You will never see that fight. I don't think they'll ever air it or put it on anything unless I keep talking shit enough for them to like, oh, we gotta put it out there. You know, but regardless, and then the Johnny fight, the first one, that was truly boxer versus bare knuckle fighter, and I lost. The second fight, I felt like I was blending between being a boxer and a bare knuckle fighter, and times that I took over as a bare knuckle fighter are the times that you saw Johnny fight dirty and use his little cheat tactics to stop that momentum within me. You know, the whole spin me around, punch me in the back of the head. You know, I arm trapped him perfect, and his only resolution for it was to pick me up and carry me across the ring. You know, a few of the times when I trapped him, he stepped on my foot and pushed me and hit me and then tried to point like he knocked me down. And, you know, goodness, the ref seen that he was clearly stepping on my foot as he pushed me or hit me over, you know. And those were the times when I was taking over the fight, you know, as in the bare knuckle fashion of it, you know, because he's the better bare knuckle fighter, he's the better bare knuckle brawler. And then the times when that started coming out, and, you know, I started winning the fight in some aspects of it. And then when a few of those things happened, I settled back into my boxer counterpunch role, and that shit wasn't getting it done, you know. So you have to be able to work the medium in between. They were like, well, who does better in a bare knuckle fight, MMA fighter or a boxer? Neither. A real bare knuckle fighter who can actually, you know, fight in the capacity of both in one solid art form. You know? So, I don't know. We're creating a whole new form of fighting, or whatever you want to call it. But if you ask that question, that's it. Working on being a more complete fighter, flowing in between the states of boxing and bare knuckle brawling, and blending them and making them into one seamless art form of fighting. Instead of either you get the boxing Reggie, or you get the Abby Reggie, or you get the Chop Reggie. That's what everybody says. That Reggie is gone. You know, it's become one solid person. And I got some guys in here who, you know, I had them do dirty stuff. I had them use cheat tricks and stuff like that to see how we could remedy and counter all those things and make it, you know. So I won't ever go back into a bare knuckle fight with the mentality that I'm fighting this fight like a gentleman. Never again. I ain't gonna drop that. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you've accomplished, how nice you are to me, how much of a gentleman you are. When that bell rings, I do not care anymore. I'm going to rip your head off. I don't fuck the rules. See, I did it. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to beat you until they tell me stop. Do not do that again. I don't care.
Is there any smoke with you and Jarod Grant?
No, not at all. Not in the sense of, like, I don't like him. He's a great kid. You know, I have the utmost respect for him. You know, I was pleased to see when he came into the league, and we always said that way. It was fresh young talent born within the league is what we wanted to see. Too bad I have to be the guy to chop the head off of that. But it's okay. I don't think, you know, either way, after this fight, you know, our careers are going to go in different paths, but for me, it's an important way. You know, this fight is for me. It's not for anybody else. It's not for no fucking title. And it's for me and my family. One, because this is how I support my family. I'm a prize fighter. And then two, because I want to prove to myself that I'm still there. And I know I am. I know because I put the work in. And I push when I know I probably shouldn't be pushing. Because it's those times that make me great. My best friend Ryan Bartolo told me a long time ago, do the things you hate to make you great. And I do it all the time. They'll tell you, I come in here and I say it, all right, let's do the things we hate. Do the things you hate to make you great. Push yourself. So when those moments come that are tough and you have to dig deep, you know, we've seen how Reggie deals with those moments. All right? And we've seen how Jarod has dealt with those moments, and not in a really good fashion. But there was nobody there to truly push him over that cliff. Well, I tell you what, bro, if you start dangling, I'm coming and I'm stomping on both your hands.
That's too much.
And it ain't out of malice or ill will or dislike or discontent for him as a person or human being. But I'm a fighter. This is blood sport. This is what I do, and I'm fucking hungry. So I'm coming to eat your soul, your face, your being, everything. And you just kill me to beat me.
So is this fight? Is the risk worth the reward?
Hell no. Not at all. Jarod risks nothing. That interim belt don't mean shit. So, I risk it everything. This is my career. This is make it or break it time. If he loses one fight, he's alright. He's young. He'll bounce back. I've lost 2 world title fights. Forget the title. I guess if he's top dog and I'm up there behind everybody else, even that bitch, y'all know who I'm talking about, then it's make it or break it time. And that's how we carried it. That's how we trained since, before we even had this fight. When I was thinking I was going to fight in that flyweight, I spent 2.5 months eating nothing but vegetables, fruit, and nasty ass, unsalted, unseasoned chicken and tuna fish out of a can for them to turn around and tell me, oh no, you can go back to 135.
So is that a little bit of little steam that you're bringing into this fight too?
Yes, if I gotta stay at this weight class and fight you guys, I'm coming to take everything from every last one of you. I don't care about your accolades. I'm coming to take your manhood as a fighter.
Damn.
When you're done, whether win, lose, or draw, you're going to be like, I never want to fight him again. Ask Johnny Bedford, would he really, really want to fight me for a 3rd time if I beat Jarod? Not at all. Not at all. He may have won both those fights, but he knows deep down inside that just like me, it took a part of him. It takes a part of you when you're in those wars. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. It's never been put out there, but in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, did that damage that you took, the reason why you were injured and couldn't come back so fast, was from our fight.
Right? Because we ain't seen him fight nowhere else, so that is a good question. Only he can answer that.
But I don't dislike Johnny. Everybody knows that. He's an asshole, and I'll tell him that to his face. It's not like he can't beat me up. But he knows I love him, and when you fight somebody twice in that magnitude, you can't have nothing. Whether we would have been on opposite sides of the W's and L's, it's still that mutual respect for each other. So, and he's a family man like me, so as far as Johnny's concerned, I always wish him the best. But would he really, really want to go to war with me for a 3rd time just to get back what he truly in his heart believes is his? Which I do. My only problem is you can't be a champion until you successfully defend it. And I have nothing against you, being the belt holder, but come be the champion, defend that shit. And if you're not, get out the way. And let the other dogs play for right now. And that's what's gonna happen. But his belt, his title, his accolades, I ain't after that. Remember in boxing they used to call me the O Snatcher.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's what I live for. I want the undefeated guys. I want the top guys. I want the guys who everybody thinks can't be beat or everybody thinks I can't beat them. And the only 2 fights that I've lost were both on short notice, in boxing, to top-level undefeated guys. Gerald Tucker, former Olympic champion. Rocky Marzone is now, what's he in, like his teens and undefeated? Mm-hmm. And I gave him, he'll tell you, honestly, I gave him one of the toughest, he earned that fight. And I honestly think only because we were in Scranton did I not get my draw.
That was an absolute good fight.
Yeah, I come to fight. And I had to find that part of Reggie too. That was excited to do this because I generally just wanted to fight. It got too businessy, about titles and accolades and views and likes, and I post on the internet for my fans so they can see that I'm working until that they can be inspired. So is it kind of like
Bare Knuckle 1 when you was just raw?
Yeah.
And
that's the mentality.
Yeah.
I'm just going in here just raw, fuck it, I'm coming. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna go in here and let these hands go and have fun doing it. And instead of the mentality of, oh, this is for a world title and no, I don't care about that. I'm just gonna go in here and have fun beating this dude's ass in front of the world.
So I need
And
you
if I
to
don't
just...
beat him up, it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
Oh my goodness. Anything you want to say about this London card this weekend? It's happening like today or tomorrow.
It's this weekend?
Yeah, they over there in London now.
I thought that shit was... No, that was just a press conference. That card ain't until August 20th.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's August 20th, and then the 27th is a New Mexico card.
Oh.
Do some fact checking. Yeah. So
Damn, they over there in London. So what you think about the card
it's
as they
doing
building
press
it up?
conference. It's building. It's coming along. MVP versus Platinum. It's not a fight that amuses me. And the reason why is you have a guy who, you know, I take nothing away from MVP's style. You know, that's what works for him. But then you have Mike Perry, who is predominantly a counterpuncher. And what is MVP? A 1-point counter striker. Somebody's going to have to come forward. If Mike goes forward, he's going to get knocked out. He knows that. We know that. The world knows that. MVP, if he goes forward, he's going to get knocked out. We know that. The world knows that. So what you have is two very high-level names that are potentially going to make for a very, very boring fight because they're going to be feigning and shucking at hitting the other person to try to strike first so they can counter. I mean, any combat sports analyst or...
You don't think
whatever,
Mr. Venom is going to have something to prove? He's going to come out, give us a little bit of flashy movement, and then, you know, be aggressive, be overly aggressive maybe even?
I don't know. It would be nice to see, but I ain't holding my breath.
Understood.
I ain't holding my breath. You already know what y'all gonna see from me. Off the line, I'm coming.
Ah,
I'm coming. And you can keep hitting me. You won't have to just put me down, but I'm coming.
anything we want to tell the people to make them want to see you and Mr. Jarod Grant, who is himself 5-0, going against you? That is, what are you? What's your record?
6-2.
6-2.
I'm
I
tied
thought we
for the
snuck
most
another
fights
one
in the
in
league.
there. You have the most fights?
Tied for the most fights in the league.
With who?
Arnold.
Oh, okay, yeah. Y'all both started on that first card.
Have the second, tied for the second most wins.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
I ain't worried about all that.
I know you ain't.
Well,
you don't even
fight.
ever talk about
You
that
have
stuff.
a
So
bare knuckle OG, you know, one of the founding fathers of this sport versus one of the fastest rising up and coming youngest stars in the 135-pound weight class. If this is not a clash of highly skilled boxer versus highly skilled bare knuckle veteran, I mean, that right there in itself sells itself. That's why we're the main event. And it's going to be an exciting fight. And I come in to wreck his shit? Absolutely. What do I always say? There will be blood.
you have your first time to fight any of your fights anywhere near home. You're going back. You're going into his space again. You're going into your
Doesn't
opponent's
matter.
space.
We ain't going to get no damn decision. We ain't going looking. I'm not going to Florida looking to win no decisions. Not at all.
Okay.
Finish the fight. Or you finish me.
Understood. Well, there you have it, you guys. Reggie Barnett Jr., July 23rd, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Tampa 2.
Shout out to my new sponsor, Fighting Bros. Check them out. Check out their group
Fighting
on
Bros.
Facebook. Got another one too, but I didn't get a chance to look. Always Fightheadsmma. You know, Assured Construction. Thank you, Nate Price, as always, for looking out for me. Cryo. Man, I don't have my list for me, y'all. All my sponsors, Mr.
Ginger
Joyner,
Hales.
Mr. Joyner at JDIS,
Yes.
Ginger Hales, David Fournette, thank you so much, brother, for coming through. Ryan Barr, got new graphics coming in. man, I'm just, the love and support is unreal. I don't understand sometimes, but well, it's okay. It works itself out. It's all coming together. And no matter what, I'm going to go in there and fight my ass off from start to finish.
Well, we thank you, brother.
Thank you.
With each fight, in each fight camp, comes its own special certain circumstances. And for me, looking at this fight and this fight camp, there's an unnatural energy with Reggie. It's different than any energy I've ever felt from him going into a fight. The best I can think is free your mind, and the rest will follow. I'm not quite sure what resolve Reggie has reached in his mind going into this fight, but whatever it is, he's very settled with it, which I believe makes him even more dangerous than he's been prior to, even past the words that just came out of his mouth to me in this interview. The energy is different, and I expect to see that energy come across in this fight against Mr. Grant. Good luck to both men.